Boxing fans, what's going on? This is the Rope-A-Dope Report. I am your host, Chris Carlson. Just made a video earlier, now on a news video, kind of a news article. I kind of in a sense previewed or talked about some fights going on, 3 fights that are maybe in the future fights that I think boxing fans and mainstream fans would love. Well, this is a fight that I think is more for boxing fans. It is Chris Arreola, the heavyweight from America, going against Jameel McCline. I always want to say Jamal McCline, but it's Jameel McCline. Now, McCline's been in there with a lot of people. I believe Klitschko in the 10th had him down, and I think if I remember correctly, the corner threw the towel in. Otherwise, he's been in there with a lot of people. McCline is an experienced fighter. I'm not going to sit there and say that he's a great fighter by any stretch. But no matter what, for Arreola, he needs rounds. And he also needs a name that gets him pumped up for training. Now, I think that's a problem. And I think that if he ever becomes heavyweight champion, which I hope this doesn't happen, but, you know, if he's already slacking a little bit right now, which he's done in his last 2 fights with his weight, what's going to happen when he's champ? You know, after a couple of, let's say even a couple of years go by, let's say he did become champ and beat one of the Klitschkos. Well, he'd have to fight a David Haye and a Klitschko again, and I think that would keep him going for a while. But what's going to happen if he does become champ? Is he going to get lazy and blow up to 260 or 270? I mean, his last fight, I think he came in at 250. The one before was 254. The best time he looks is 240 and under. I've seen about 6 or 7 of his fights. I think McCline's this is a perfect fight for him because, like I said, it gets him pumped up and it gets him rounds. He needs to go 6 or 8 or 10 and hopefully 12 rounds. I don't know if it's a 10 or 12 round fight, but it would be nice to see him go the distance or at least 6 to 8 rounds. So I think that's exactly what this is going to do. Goosen supposedly said he's already been training for a month. So the fight is April 11th. It's on the undercard of the Winky Wright Paul Williams. So that's a great doubleheader for HBO. Big props on HBO this year anyway. I mean, they've been killing it. The only bummer that everybody says, the stinker that might happen, is Dawson versus Tarver, Antonio Tarver. But, you know, it's kind of weird that HBO picked up that fight, but I think they see Dawson and see the future with Dawson. And Dawson maybe even might be able to get in a year Calzaghe back out of retirement. Either way, he said he's going to go from 175 and 168, and there's a lot of talent at 168. So they're paying for this fight. HBO is, and I believe that fight has to happen because of contracts. You know, before the fight, it was signed that it'd have to be a rematch if Tarver lost. So you can let that one go by. Let's get back to this fight, though. Arreola, I believe he will win this fight. I really hope he's 240 and under. It'd be great to see him 238, 235 coming into this fight, but I hope he's 240 because then we know he's training. He looks that much faster. He'll be able to take body shots that much better without the excess things in here. I mean, his last fight was great, the Travis Walker. I mean, the guy can turn a fight. I'll give him that. I think he's definitely got skill. He's got some pedigree in the amateurs, that's for sure. Potentially he's there. I'm glad that, you know, he'd been talking about fighting one of the Klitschkos. Vladimir is what, you know, you heard both, but it really sounded like Vladimir. I'm glad that didn't happen. I hope that's 2 or 3 fights away. You know, even if it's 2 fights away and then he lost to Klitschko and then got better and fought him again, that would work too. But I think this is a great fight. I'm picking Arreola. I think it'll be, if it's a 10-rounder, it will go the distance, but I'm picking a 9th round KO by Arreola. You know, it might be not that he's on the ground, he can't move, but the corner might get thrown in, kind of like McCline's corner threw in against Klitschko, if I recall. So yeah, I'm going with Chris Arreola. You know, obviously, I mean, everyone loves heavyweights, mainstream-wise. And in boxing, you gotta love a heavyweight fight. The heavyweight fights, you know, and in the division anyway, have been down for years. But this would be, I think this is a nice stepping stone. So let me know what you think. Chris Arreola, like I said, 9th round. knockout. Either way, I'm picking him to win by stoppage, TKO, or KO, or whatever. However, I think he's gonna. I'd love to see him go the distance, but I think he'll stop him in the end. I am your host, Chris Carlson of the Ring. Gosh, I always want to say Ring Magazine. Ring. Anyway, it's the Rope-A-Dope Report. Peace.